To make this kimono, you're going to need 1.5 yards of chiffon fabric, bias tape. You're also going to need sewing pins, pattern weights, and some kind of marking tools. I'm going to be using a permanent marker, but you definitely want to grab a pencil. You're also going to need a rotary cutter or fabric scissors, and also paper scissors to cut out your pattern. And of course, you're going to need some type of rulers. I have a yardstick and a basic 18-inch ruler. To draft this kimono, I'm first going to start by making a large rectangle that is 46 inches wide by 26 inches long. Next, I'm going to find the center part of the kimono, and I'm going to draw a dashed line all the way up. This is going to represent the center front opening. Next, we're going to go in 10 inches from the lower side of the kimono. From that marking, you want to go up 12 inches, and then you're going to draw a straight line towards the outer line. Next, we're going to draw in a curve. This is going to be our side seam. Go ahead and grab a curved ruler if you have one and create a slight curve between these edges, just like you see me doing here in the video. Go ahead and repeat that same process to the other side of your kimono. Again, this curved edge is going to represent your side seam. Once you've curved both side seams, we can move on to our neck opening. So we're going to mark 4 inches on either side of the dashed line, and then we're going to go down 4 inches. Now you just want to freehand a half circle between these markings, just like you see me doing here in the clip. This half circle is going to represent our neck opening. This kimono does not have shoulder seams, so we're going to cut that portion on the fold. Go ahead and write in fold along both shoulder seam areas. Next, you want to go ahead and write cutting line front only along the center front dashed line. Then just go ahead and label your pattern with DIY kimono and remind yourself to cut 1 on the fold. Now we're just going to cut out our kimono pattern piece. So remember to cut along the curved edges. This is going to be your side seam. Then just cut up across the armhole. Then you want to cut across the shoulder seams. And make sure to cut out that half circle that represents your neckline. To make sure everything is symmetrical, go ahead and fold your pattern piece in half and just make sure everything is nice and even. I had to trim a small amount along the neckline area. Bring your chiffon fabric or any fabric that has a good amount of drape and fold it in half. Next, bring your pattern piece in and place the fold line of the fabric along the fold line of the pattern. Go ahead and just cut out your pattern with your rotary cutter or fabric scissors. Before you remove your pattern piece, go ahead and make a small little snip along the center front of the neckline and the center front of the lower portion of your kimono. Then remove your pattern piece and just cut along those small notches. Make sure you're cutting along the front only. The first step we're going to do as far as sewing our kimono is we're going to finish the neckline of our kimono. So go ahead and just open up your single fold bias tape. This is just 1/2 inch single fold bias tape, and I'm just going to pin along the neckline area. Go ahead and take your fabric to your sewing machine, and you're going to sew along the crease line of the bias tape. You want to sew along the crease line that is closest to the raw edge. Once you've sewn your bias tape in place, we still need to fold it in towards the wrong side. This is what creates the nice finish along the neckline. Now that we've folded our bias tape towards the wrong side of our neckline and we've pinned it in place, we're going to take that to our sewing machine and we're going to sew along the edge with a basting stitch. Once you've basted your bias tape in place, turn your fabric to the right side and you're going to top stitch along your basting line. You're going to top stitch using a regular length stitch. Now that we've finished our neckline, we can fold our fabric with right sides together and we're going to pin along the curved side seam. Now that we've pinned both side seams in place, take your fabric to your sewing machine and sew with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Finish your seams with a serger or your desired method. Now all that's left to do to finish our kimono is to hem the center front opening, the lower edge of the kimono, and our armholes. To do this, we're going to do a double fold. We're going to fold under a quarter to the wrong side, and then we're going to fold in again another quarter to the wrong side, creating a double hem. To make the hemming easier, I like to fold in the 1/4 inch at my ironing table, press it in place, and then fold in another 1/4 inch and press that in place. Once I do that, I like to secure my hem in place with wonder clips or sewing pins. Once you finished your hemming, you're all done with your kimono. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys!